Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings, honorable thesis examiners, as well as my thesis supervisor, Mr. Amirullah Hardi. My name is Ahmad Zaky Ismail, an economic undergraduate student from Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Gadjah Mada. Through this pre-recorded video, I will present my undergraduate thesis titled Unravelling the Connection Between ICT Adoption on Non-Farm Enterprise, Performance, and Family Welfare in Indonesia. Starting off with the introduction and also motivation of this research. Non-farm enterprise has become an integral part of our economy as it often classified as SMEs that operates under non-agricultural activities such as transportation, creative economy, services, or others. In recent years, their number have outgrown significantly as many of the world economies have shifted from being an agricultural base into service and also manufacturing base. The statement is strengthened by the statistic on the upper left side, where globally the number of worldwide MSMEs is continuously growing up to 332.9 million in 2021, making them the backbone of many economies around the world. This significant growth contributes to many benefits to society, such as first, the increasing share of non-farm economy based on the income, second, reduction of rural poverty and increase in non-farm household income, third, higher gain of household consumption expenditure, and lastly, positive impact of the overall economic output. The condition is also similar in Indonesia, where since 2011, the country's sectoral employment have shifted from focusing on agricultural activities into service sector. Despite the different trend between urban and also rural areas, it is projected that the employment in the service sector will continuously to increase and even overlap other sectors in the future. Recognizing the development of NFEs, digitalization is one of the important aspects that further increase the development of non-farm economy. There are 4 key benefits of ICT adoption on NFEs in particular. First, better connectivity to internet-based platform, so business owners can expand their market access and suppliers network. Second, increase in the internal and also external business performance. Third is increase in overall employment and also wage. And lastly, decrease in agricultural economic reliance. All of these factors can be efficient if there is an optimal use of mobile internet adoption and proper access to adequate ICT infrastructure. However, the reality is quite contradictory. From the infrastructure perspective, ICT development in Indonesia is still concentrated in the west region of Indonesia, while eastern Indonesia is lagging behind. Furthermore, from the perspective of NFEs itself, there are 3 key issues that harness the adoption of technology. First is difficulties in conducting digitalization. Second is the lack of internet penetration among NFEs. And lastly is the knowledge gap and also awareness of business owners. Despite of this, the government has started various initiatives to help alleviate the mobile internet adoption among NFEs, as shown in the boxes below. Therefore, recognizing the previous problems, this study will outline 4 main research problems that include first, low rate of NFEs digitalization in Indonesia, inadequate ICT infrastructure in Indonesia, unequal access to mobile internet network, and lastly, the importance of ICT as consumption driver. This research raised 3 key questions. First, does mobile internet adoption in NFEs operation have a statistically significant impact on profitability? Does the same adoption have a statistically significant impact on household consumption? And lastly, does the same adoption varies across multiple heterogeneity factors, such as household head age, education, and also NFE classification? Those questions will also be the baseline to resolve 3 main objectives of this research as indicated in the blue boxes. Next, we move on into the literature review. Starting from the theoretical framework, this study used a Cobb-Douglas production function introduced by Sircar and Choi to estimate the correlation of ICT adoption on business performance, and the household utility function introduced by Connell and Mohra to assess the correlation to household welfare. For the conceptual framework, this study represents the flow of correlation between ICT adoption towards NFE performance and household consumption through the flow chart on the left-hand side. As you can see, initial adoption of ICT at NFE level can cause an effect through improvements in 4 mechanism factors, whereas the effect on household level is explained through the improvement of 2 factors. However, due to the data limitation, this study will not include these mechanism variables and will only focus on analyzing 3 outcome categories as noted on the chart. Many researchers around the world has echoed the positive impact that ICT adoption brings to business improvement. It is evidence that the provision of adequate ICT infrastructure will have a positive effect on the aggregate output or GDP of both developed and also developing countries. Second, mobile device adoption has also shown a positive effect on providing better market access, capabilities, and improved communication system for business owners. And lastly, the adoption of ICT among businesses in China shows an increase in household consumption by 20.2%, indicated by Wang et al. In Indonesia, many researchers that have done similar research also stated that ICT adoption contributed positively on both household consumption and business performance. As explained by Arifin and also Ramadhani, the use of mobile internet is associated with an increase in per capita expenditure, food expenditure, and non-food expenditure, whereas Aryansyah stated that household living in area with high 3G or 4G density yield a higher monthly income. Furthermore, we use studies from Rini and Rahadian Tino and Rahayu and Rianto as the main literature due to the similarity in topics. Both of these studies examine the impact of mobile device and internet usage at NFE level on the business profit and household consumption. However, this research separate the focus of outcome and only uses ATT as the single estimation. Therefore, this study aspires to fill in the gap by simultaneously focus on the two outcomes while also provide a more robust estimation. Next, we move on to the data and methodology. For the methodology overview, this research will comply to 6 main processes as explained by the boxes below. Due to the issue of endogeneity, this research will employ propensity score matching using OLS as the main estimation and ATT as the robustness check. For the identification strategy, we estimate the propensity score using a logit estimation and 4 types of matching algorithms in the like of nearest neighbor, k-nearest neighbor, radius caliper, and kernel matching. To ensure for the unbiasedness of the research, there are 2 identification assumptions that need to be fulfilled. First being the conditional independence assumption or CIA, and second being the overlapping assumption or common score. This study uses a post-matching OLS as the main model estimation following previous study by Zhang et al. In 2023 with 3 specifications as you can see below. We include 3 outcome variables. First is the NFE profit, second is the household food expenditure, third is the household non-food expenditure. And we also include 2 treatment variables denoted by the beta ICT, which consists of mobile device as the first treatment and internet as the second treatment. Therefore, and also we include a set of covariates denoted by XE and also an error term denoted by the epsilon. Next is the specification of our robustness check using ATT. ATT here is used to specifically estimate the effect of mobile internet adoption on the treatment group with comparison to its counterfactual group. To support the analysis, this study uses cross-sectional data from 2 data sources, the IFLS Wave 5, which was conducted in 2014 as the baseline data, and Badan Pusat Statistik provincial level data in 2014 as the complementary data. In total, this research uses 21 covariates with 16 variables collected at the household level and 5 variables collected at the community level. As you can see in the left-hand table, we divide the covariates into 5 different sections, as you can see on the left-hand table also. From sample size, our sample comprises of 1,706 observations with 93% of them owns micro NFEs, 6% of them own small NFEs, and 0.35% of them owns medium NFEs. It is also important to note that the sample distribution between mobile device and internet adopters is not equally distributed, as there are only 5% of adopters in the internet. Next, we move on to the main section of results. From the left-hand table, out of 5 matching methods, we select k nearest neighbor with k equals to 5 as the selected matching methods, as it yields the highest mean bias reduction from 16.7 to 2.0 for mobile device and 29.8 to 4.6 for internet access. This is also supported by the lowest Rubin's B score and also Rubin's R score, which indicates the absolute standardized difference and also ratio of variance. Furthermore, our study also satisfied the first assumption of CIA, as the matching has lowered the mean difference significantly in both treatments. In addition, our study also provides enough evidence, particularly for mobile device, that it has satisfied the common support assumption. The condition of smaller area of common support in the internet access treatment is caused by the sample distribution divergence between the adopters and also non-adopters. The classical assumption test shows that there found to be no multicollinearity and no non-normality within the sample, indicated by the Jark-Bera and also FEB test. However, there is evidence of heteroscedasticity, particularly for the mobile device treatment, which later we applied the robust regression model to counter for the bias. For the main result of mobile device, the adoption of mobile device at NFE statistically affect the adopters to have a higher average profit by 0.487 percentage points. Whereas for household consumption, the mobile device statistically affect adopters to have a higher average food expenditure by 5.2255 percentage point and a higher average non-food expenditure by 4.783 percentage point. The internet treatment also echoed a similar result, where the adoption of internet access at NFEs level statistically affect the adopters to have a higher average profit by 0.375 percentage point, a higher average food expenditure by 19.27 percentage point, and a higher average non-food expenditure by 8.012 percentage point. The robustness check estimation using ATT also shows a similar result, where both mobile internet adoption yield a statistically significant effect on NFE profit, household food expenditure, and also non-food expenditure. These findings conclude that our main result is robust. Furthermore, this research also looked into the heterogeneity effect analysis. First, it is found that younger households had, specifically those falling in the millennial category, tend to generate a higher NFE profit by 3.6%. It is statistically significant at 10% level. However, for household consumption, it is found that household in the Gen X category has the highest consumption. Next, when we look into the factor of education, if the household has tertiary education, it will increase the NFE profit, household food expenditure, and also household non-food expenditure. Lastly, the result also shows that if the NFE is a known micro, it will increase the profit by 3.6%, statistically significant at 5% level. However, due to our sample mostly comprises of micro NFEs, the household consumption is comparably higher for micro NFEs. Lastly, we arrive on the final chapter of conclusion and also implication. In conclusion, this research draws 4 key takeaways. First, this study used a combined method of PSM-OLS to estimate the effect of ICT adoption at the NFE level. There is evidence to be a statistically significant effect on NFE's mobile internet adoption on a higher NFE profit, household food expenditure, and household non-food expenditure. Third, the lower impact magnitude for NFE profit may caused by the sample size that mostly comprises of micro NFEs, which limit the estimation of effect compared to having an equally distributed sample. Lastly, the outcome differs across household head, age, and education, with younger and more educated household head demonstrate the highest gain on outcome. And in addition, a higher NFE asset classification also yield a higher impact on the profit. To conclude the research, this study recognized 5 key limitations that mostly revolves around the data. As you can see on the left-hand boxes, first, the study only used OLS as the main specification compared to a more robust method such as 2SLS-IV or GMM-IV. The study didn't include any mechanism variable. Third, the sample distribution of internet access treatment is negatively skewed, implying a potential bias estimate. The study limits the treatment variable only to mobile internet adoption. And lastly, the IFLS5 data hasn't been updated since 2014, therefore a more updated database is recommended. Whereas for the implication and recommendation of future studies, this research proposed 4 key points, as you can see on the right-hand boxes. Adding first is to add mechanism variables into the model. And then second, a recommendation for the government to set a priority on an inclusive ICT infrastructure development. And then third, the creation of a robust regulatory framework intended to protect data security and also privacy. And lastly is to develop a nationwide digital learning programs. That's all for my thesis presentation. I would like to say thank you for your honorable examiners and also Mr. Amirullah Hardi, and therefore would welcome any questions or suggestions that you have. Thank you.